Goddag, and welcome back to the Norwegian campaign. And we are, I think, nearing the end now. I've said that a couple of times, but this should be the last major task force that the Germans have. Except for this one, I guess. Down here in the Mediterranean, so might have to do something about that. Anyway, we got the four greats. Bjørnson, Kielland, Ibsen, Lee. Versus, three battleships and one battle cruiser of the German Navy, but they're all four of them pretty much the same. Around the same speed, around the same armament, same size. I'm just going to say they have four battleships. They do have a lot of destroyers, though. A lot of these V-22s. However, they don't have the greatest torpedo range on those destroyers, and these light cruisers are all the 5,000 ton class with I think it was like 11-kilometer torpedo range, which is not too impressive. So I think we're good. Let's go. So let's see what we can do here. Let's see, I want to have you join in there. That's all four of you. And these cruisers, if you would play nice and follow the battleships, that would be nice. I got these ones too. Sure. It's gonna be a long tail of cruisers, but I'm sure we can figure something out. And this one, I'm not sure. Let's see. I think we briefly spotted the German ships, but they went invisible. I can see them here, the smoke screens. So I got four Vikings. Might be able to make something happen with the torpedoes. We're not doing too much speed with these, but that's fine. It is morning, actually. I thought it was gonna be evening, so soon night, but no, it's morning. So we're gonna have more and more daylight as the fight goes on. Doing now 26 knots. That's fine. Just want to have this like sail parallel to the battleships, providing a little bit of sonar, but on the far side of the battleship, not closer to the enemy, because then it's just going to get focused by enemy battleship guns, and my little light cruiser will not survive that. So it's screening from the back. Someone commented that if 42 kilometers isn't knife fighting range, I need the bigger knife. I think my knives are... well, they're big enough. Maybe they could have been a little bit longer. How's the fleet forming up? Are doing fine. These three actually sail parallel, just at full speed. The enemy lost sight of my destroyers. But I guess that shell was fired before they lost sight of me. Or they respotted me and I just didn't see the notification. Anyway, we are almost in torpedo range. I could launch at their destroyers, but who knows where those shells would then end up. We're going with HE. Getting those big HE penetrations. That is my plan. So Viking 36 has now taken a hit. And a bit of flooding. Can launch at those cruisers and then just get out. Now the other Vikings are in range. Almost. Almost. You now have range to hit Beowulf, and you have launched already. Very nice. Good. And I think my Vikings are all... Oh, okay. Maybe they're not all getting out. Maybe they are. They're turning their line. Means that the torpedoes aimed at Siegfried. They're the ones aimed over here. But I guess we're gonna get multiple torpedo hits anyway, greatly disrupting the enemy formation. Viking 31 goes down. Battleships can switch fire to the enemy cruisers. That are closing in. And the enemy heavy cruisers actually have some decent torpedo range. We're gunning down their cruisers now. They have launched. From at least one of them. Yeah, Thor got a fan of torpedoes in the water. I'm just gonna have to rely on my torpedo bulges here because at this range, I don't think my cumbersome super battleships can even try to avoid. It's just gonna mess up the line. Do more harm than good. Now, we can turn our battleship's attention back to the enemy battleships. Because we sank all their heavy cruisers, I think. Yeah, we did. There are the torpedoes. They were actually not aimed at my battleships at all. They were aimed at the cruisers. It looks like it was just one. So, as such, that should be a decent thumbnail. Derflinger is still hanging around, but unable to fire back. Hjelland has taken some damage from 10-inch guns from the enemy heavy cruisers. Not too bad. And the last two enemy battleships are quickly sinking. We'll now just focus on Beowulf. Get her out. Shouldn't be a high priority target, the way it can't fight back at the moment, but let's just get her done with. I think that should be the last bit of damage required, and there she goes. Battleships can now switch fire to this cluster of light cruisers. Oh, Mimid, you've taken some flooding. These other cruisers are good to go. Well, yeah, these are the ones with all the torpedoes on the side. At least some of them. There we go. Some very great hits. And the enemy light cruisers are starting to sink. Bring these heavy cruisers in a little bit closer. The ones with 11-inch guns are already firing. Battleships are just sailing along, firing away. Well, let's not get in torpedo range of those destroyers. Let's put those torpedoes to use, because we do have them on a couple of these. That was all of them aimed at the same ship, but hopefully they should spread out. This squadron does not have torpedoes. They do have 11-inch guns on 2 of them. See how many torpedo heads we're awarded with from these cruisers. That could be a lot. It's not really necessary though at this stage, but did want to make use of these torpedoes at some point. It's like we got 3, we had 11 from the cruiser, no, the destroyer attack. 15, that was on a sinking ship. Same with that one. Yeah, this is looking pretty good. Yeah, that's the last of them. Poor little V4. There she goes. Nice. So I lost one destroyer, I think. Yeah. Yeah. Viking 31. Not too bad. Probably wasn't even necessary doing that torpedo run. Firepower was more than sufficient. She did score 5 torpedo hits though, so Viking 31 did her job. In fact, she was the most effective of the destroyers, just by number of torpedo hits. Although I think Viking 34 did more like damage. Yeah. Anyway, that was a pretty good win. Let's see what else is going on. Is the US Army gonna cuck me on northeast Italy too? Perhaps. Perhaps they are. That is just a single destroyer. That's not gonna do anything. We have one light cruiser here, and finally, we are actually above the required tonnage. And these task forces have been joined together. That was not the intention. It's very annoying. Like so. Good. As for naval invasions this turn, let's start with the Bismarck Archipelago. Yeah. No, let's do Chile. Or actually, is the army taking that? It is not. Let's do Chile. Too bad I can only launch one invasion per turn. Maybe this invasion here will not be needed after all, because the army is actually finally making advances. We're gonna take northern France next turn. Yeah, too bad about the about the U.S. Army just coming in here and messing up. Army logistics 47. Why is mine down to 25%? I don't really get that. I should have enough ships, because that's what it's based on. I mean, if I were to guess, it would probably just have to be because my army force has grown so much from taking over all these British colonies. Anyway, on to May. And there are, believe it or not, still some battles to be fought. Like this light cruiser. It's the one with the really long range torpedoes though, but still. And we are firing. I sent most of the task force home. As you can see, they haven't gotten far yet. I'm just going to use this one, Tailed Loschen, to fight the lone German light cruiser. Shouldn't present too much of a problem. That is a fearsome torpedo array. Would have been more fearsome if they were like 24-inch and oxygen fueled, so they'd have a bit more range. I thought they had like 25-kilometer range, but I misremembered. But it's more than the 11 kilometers on the other type of light cruiser. And there we go. It's kind of sinking already. Boom. That was main belt. Main belt pens. A couple overpens too, but that's what you get. I've taken northern France and the Solomon Islands. The question is, will we get this one before the Americans? And will my Navy take this one before the Army? They're sending out battleships. They're actually assembling a new task force here. Right. More naval invasions to be launched, and Germany has become the German Reich. So it's no longer the Bundesmarine that we're fighting. Let's do Bismarck Archipelago just before I forget it. Oh, for freak's sake. I did not want you guys to go in port. I wanted you to fight this destroyer. The Germans have some ships in Ancona. I send them closer enough to generate a strike mission, maybe I can fight them. Convoy battle, alright. We got Tordenskjold and 3 heavy cruisers. We're fighting a battleship. Hildebrand 1960 refit, only 22 knots. So it's a typical AI thing of refitting a ship that has decent speed and then just removing all the speed. Let's see. Convoy is that way. South Dakota. You're speedy. Probably better off just joining the division of Tordenskjold. You two have different speeds. You should not be working together. But I'm just gonna keep you around here for now. Let's see, Monty has torpedoes. Lots of them. Like 20 tubes per side. Here they are. So, refit. I mean, that is pretty good armor. That's pretty good armor on that battleship. Not sure if I'm gonna be able to sink it with my 14s. But maybe if I get lucky with the torps, then I can do something. I think first things first, my battlecruiser will focus on the enemy heavy cruisers. Because again, I don't think the 14s will do much to scratch that battleship. And maybe the extended belts. If I can do enough damage to it that it will be forced to repair for many months, that would be pretty nice. And if the same happens to Tordenskjold, then I don't really care because I've got plenty of capital ships. Just up the speed and get closer. And down again to ×3. 30 kilometers range. What kind of range do you have now? 32 kilometers. I thought this one had longer range before. Semi-ballistic now. Ooh, that could hurt my extended belt on Tordenskjold a lot. That's really not a duel I want to take, actually. But I guess I can't really help it that the enemy wants to fire at my battlecruiser. Yeah, there we go. 4 belt pen with semi-AP. What are you doing? Come here. We're not leaving. I'm not sure if Viking 47 can get any closer than this, so we're just gonna launch at a transport and hope that the battleship finds itself nearby by the time the torpedoes arrive. Sometimes it does work, as we have seen in previous episodes. Not really scratching those cruisers at this range. I think the brave little Viking is probably done for this battle. The K-55 is coming though. Tordenskjold, you can actually target Markgraf directly. I don't quite have range on these 8-inch guns yet. Almost got lucky with the torpedoes. If Markgraf hadn't done that little circle and kept sailing in front of this transport, very real possibility she would have eaten a couple of torps. Ouch. Yeah. Get some torps in the water from Mani. And from the other side as well, this time at the cruisers. May or may not work. But we are doing damage to that battleship. The transports are really not the primary mission here. There we go. Good torpedoes. Good hits on enemy battleship. Although again, I'm skeptical that I'll actually win that gunnery duel. If nothing else, I can outrun it. Viking is retiring. That's probably for the best. Ragnhild can still fire. Mani will have torpedoes back. So both of these focus that heavy cruiser. It's just in such a good position to be targeted. 16 kilometers out. There we go. Victoria Louise is almost gone. One more salvo like that, and well, yeah, she doesn't flood. That's why the torpedo didn't really slow her down. It's one of those magical ships. But you can still sink her like that. Next cruiser. And once it is gone, we're left with just the battleship. And the transports, but don't really care about the transports. The brave little K-55 is closing in on the battleship. Ragnhild is still firing. with her long-range single-barrel 11.9s. Moni does not have torpedoes yet. K-55 did not like that. It's not healthy. But the torpedoes are still good to go. No, she's not gonna get out. Might get torpedo hits though. Mycroft is only doing 16 knots. There we go. Last cruiser has been sunk. Now it's just a battleship. Maybe it's time to retire Ragnhild. It's got angle issues and whatnot. We did score a torpedo hit on Markgraf. Brave little K-55 with one solid torpedo hit. That means this is suddenly very doable. Just need to inflict a little bit more flooding on that enemy battleship. My torpedoes are not yet ready, but the guns can start working on the transports. Yeah, no, this is going down. Very nice, very nice. And now we're just sinking transports. They do not have torpedoes. So we're just gonna go straight in. Sadly, Mani is not the one with all the secondaries. That was Ragnhild. Like, her torpedoes did actually do work though. Very, very excellent. Good. I was a little bit worried after Mycroft scored that huge hit on Tordenskjold at the start there. And then Ragnhild got absolutely smacked by a couple volleys, but yeah, did work out in the end. Still no meeting with this lone German destroyer. Yeah, we're gonna get this. one way or another. Hopefully, with the Navy, so we don't add more unrest. Let's see, what kind of meeting battles are we actually getting here? One light cruiser. That's fine. The enemy is close. There it is. They were just hiding in smoke. Shouldn't be too much of a problem sinking this guy. Like that. And like that. And like that. Very nice. Don't come here and try and interrupt my naval invasions. And yeah, that destroyer. Nice. That's the one I was after. Not exactly a fair fight. And I just realized I do have another one of these. I thought they were extinct. But this one must be the last of its kind. Anyway, which ship to send and do the job here? I'm just going to send a light cruiser squadron. That's the kind of job that they are made for. And like so, we are in range. 7.5s are opening up. They got a 16-kilometer torpedo range. Actually, the battleships are opening up too, because they've got such long range. Even if I sent them home, I can still fire. V-29 did launch torpedoes, but they did not get here in time. Right. And lastly, there is a convoy mission. Here. Let me just launch a naval invasion first before I forget. And Germany's back to being the Bundesrepublik. Western Sicily. Or actually Penghu. Because that's the kind of little island I could easily forget. Because it's like way over here. Oh, it's this Germany. Have you sent another... It's a heavy cruiser, actually. What are you doing here? Little guy. Yeah, convoy mission. That could work. At least this is a very even fight. K-55. You can actually just follow the cruiser. You're a bit slower, but at least it's better than having you hold back Viking 38. Yeah, it's this thing. Oh yeah, that's the one that doesn't flood. That's right. And that's a pretty huge advantage it has there. Top secret British technology, the unfloodable hull. I still want to try and land some torpedoes, though. Because that would still do damage, even if it doesn't cause flooding. Gonna aim it at Wilsbach. There you go, and you are turning around. Ooh, actually coming straight in at Berserker. That means a little K-55 actually has a job to do. These torpedoes all ended up missing. Thought the enemy cruiser would just keep hanging around the transports. She came straight at me. And here are the torpedoes. Can I avoid them? Yes, I can. That took me closer to the enemy. Still not flooding. I am, of course, in danger of flooding. At least I think, unless my hull has gotten bugged as well. I don't think it has. These have taken flooding before. Maybe it has. Are we just gonna kill their crew? Knocked out all their torps. Winning the damage trade-off. I think my hull has gotten bugged too. There we go, actually inflicting flooding on the enemy ship. just a little bit right at the end. That's interesting to know. So it's not completely immune to flooding, just mostly. Enemy transports have 4-inch guns. No torpedoes. Berserker is running a bit low on secondary ammunition. I think we lost a couple of 5-inch gun mounts. And that took some ammunition with it. So it might come down to the 2-inch guns to sink the transports. Or the 4-inch guns on the K-55. Which seem effective enough. There we go, 2-inch guns are joining in. See, it is a good idea to put some 2-inch guns on your ship. Because the main guns are just going to overpen, even with HE. And the 5-inch guns are, well, all out by the looks of things. Why can't you just target the ones that are closest to K-55? There we go. We can finish off Kaiserin. It's a good thing I kept K-55 around and didn't just send it home. It's actually proving to be quite useful. And there we go. Nice. Battle of the unsinkable heavy cruisers. I know this class has taken flooding before, so I don't know what's up with that. Anyway, that's it for this time. Yeah, next time is probably just gonna be some more naval invasions, maybe some convoy battles, and then the retirement. I will see you then. Goodbye, and take care.